to meal prepping with Sophie. Hello everybody and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are meal prepping all of this lovely food. This is what I do every single week on Sundays so that I can stay on top of my nutrition and making sure I'm eating enough food and also not wasting all of my money on buying food every day as well. So this is how I like to kind of stay on track with my healthy eating. So keep on watching if you're interested in seeing how I did all of this. So this kind of follows on from the request of doing what I eat in a day video. I decided I would show you guys how I meal prep everything for the week because I like to kind of prep everything on one day and literally eat it just for the whole week. It keeps me really accountable. It means there's always food in the fridge for me. It means I'm not going to slack on my diet if I don't cook another time during the week. So that's why I like to meal prep everything on one day and then just eat it for the rest of the week. I usually make about 6 days worth of food and kind of leave like a day on the weekend where I can be a bit more flexible with my schedule and when I can actually eat out or cook food and that sort of thing. So what I usually do is actually take the diet plan that my PT has made for me and then kind of structure my meals around that. So I'm prepping my lunches and dinners. So we're gonna make about 12 meals in total. So I kind of write down the things I actually physically need to cook and what I actually need to do. So that actually gives me a good idea of what I can kind of start cooking first and then what's gonna be the most convenient for me to then follow along with. So I'm not gonna like chop up all the toppings right now and then start cooking my rice when I could be cooking my rice while I chop up the veggies. So that's kind of what I do. I kind of plan it out in my head or I write it down like this. So now I have a really good like comprehensive list of all the things that I'm gonna start cooking. So first thing I can get started is the rice in the rice cooker because that's something I can literally just set and let it go. So that's something I don't have to worry about. So I've literally just got 1 cup of rice that I'm gonna put into this crock pot slash rice cooker slash kind of just does everything, and then it will just kind of go itself and I don't have to worry about it. So you can either decide to cut your zucchini into like kind of boat shapes and make them quite big and actually chop them up as you eat them, or I'm going to chop mine up really small so that way I can eat it straight out of the meal prep container and I don't need a knife. I can just literally stab it with a fork. So that's what I'm going to do. I got a really beautiful set of Fury knives for my birthday and it is like the best thing that ever happened to me. So all my zucchini is already washed, so I'm literally just going to top and tail them like that. And I'm gonna put my veggie scraps into my little compostable bins because I'm trying to do my little tiny bit of helping save the planet or whatever. Then you can just do a slice straight down the center like that. And then I usually quarter them like lengthwise. And then probably like thirds. I'm going to just pop that straight onto a baking sheet with some baking paper. So I've chopped up all my zucchini, and for seasonings I literally just use salt, paprika and garlic powder. So this is pink Himalayan salt. I like to do heaps of garlic because I froth over garlic. So I try to avoid pre-packaged like spice mixes and stuff like that because they usually have heaps of sodium or sugar and stuff like that in them. So I literally just do it like this, and I like quite a lot of seasoning on it to give it some flav. And then I just kind of shake it all up. Each little piece has a lot of coating on it. That's basically all I do. So I don't really put any oil on it. I literally just pop it in the oven straight like this. I'm putting it on, I think at like 180 to 200 degrees for however long it cooks. The next thing I'm gonna tackle is my bok choy or pak choy. This is baby pak choy, and I'm kind of all about having like kitchen gadgets. I like anything that kind of does my job for me. So we actually have this awesome steamer that Guy's mum got, and it's really convenient because you can just literally like load it up with so much food and it will just steam everything for you. So pak choy is notorious for having dirt between the little leaves, so I always wash all my pak choy first, get in between all the ends, and then I just literally line up all the ends, chop them off, put them aside, and then if there's any pieces that are really particularly big, I'll just chop them lengthwise as well to kind of keep them sort of together. But if they're really chunky, I'll just chop them in half like that, and then they just go straight in. So I've just weighed out 1.2 kilos of sweet potato. Now I'm just going to start chopping this up into little tiny chunks so that I can just shove it in this container. I don't really care what shape or size they are, as long as they're roughly around the same kind of size, just so they kind of cook pretty evenly. But any kind of just like little bite-sized chunks is fine by me. The trick to cooking sweet potato in the microwave is to use a paper towel, wet it, like soak it in water, and then just pop that over the top as kind of your lid, because that will help kind of trap all the moisture inside, give it a little bit of extra moisture to steam it all. It just cooks it really well. So I'm literally just going to pop this whole thing into the microwave for about 10 to 15 minutes, just depending on how thick the sweet potato pieces are and how long they take to cook. So all I have left to do is my chicken and my kangaroo. So for chicken, we are going to be poaching it. So I have 2 free-range breast fillets here. I'm literally just going to put these straight into the pot and cover it with some cold water, and then that's going to slowly come up to boil. Then to the cold water, I'm going to add some minced garlic, because like I said before, I'm a fan of garlic. And you can go quite strong with this because the water kind of takes all the flavor anyway. I'm also going to do a little bit of organic crushed ginger. I can also add just a little bit of salt to the water. Then all you have to do is wait for it to come to a boil. As soon as it starts boiling, you can reduce it to a very low heat, cook it for about 8 minutes, and then the whole chicken breast should be cooked. And finally, the last thing I'm going to cook is my kangaroo. So this is the herb and garlic kangaroo steak. I honestly just like the flavor of kangaroo more than I like the flavor of beef, so that's why I kind of prefer it. It would be healthier for me to get the kind that doesn't have the flavoring on it. However, this just tastes so good, and I'm happy to eat this every single day, so I feel like it's quite sustainable for me to eat this one. So all I'm going to do is heat up my pan with a little bit of coconut oil in it. So I've finally finished cooking absolutely everything. Now I've got my meal prep containers. So I use glass containers because they don't affect your hormones at all. So for my lunch, I've got my little meal prep container. How much rice am I allowed? Let me look at my plan. 100 grams of cooked rice. And then I need 70 grams of chicken. Then I'm going to do some bok choy. So I measured this when it was raw, so I can just like basically disperse these throughout the containers. Basically fill up the whole container of bok choy. I have these Coconut Secret coconut aminos. This is the teriyaki sauce flavor. It is delicious, and I love putting this on top of any kind of bok choy or Asian greens or anything like that, because it makes it taste really good. I'm gonna do about 15 mils of that. And I also take half an avocado with me for this meal. And that is basically the finished meal prep. I'm just going to repeat that for the next 5 meals. Now for my dinners, I'm going to be doing these kind of larger containers, and we need 200 grams of sweet potato as our base. I also just went ahead and popped in all my zucchini, so that's just portioned out between the 6 meals. And now I'm finishing off with some of the kangaroo. So I'm going to put my scale on again and do about 70 grams of kangaroo. I like it when it's a little bit like bloody, if that makes sense. I prefer it like medium rare, so I cook it at medium rare and then it seems to heat up pretty well. So that's basically it. That's all I do. It's going to depress me too much to talk about how much avocados cost at the moment, but I'm using half an avocado per meal. I can either leave these in the skin or take them out, just depending. When they're nice and ripe, the seed just pops out straight away. I usually just leave it like with the skin on and just pop it straight in if there's room in the container. If there isn't room in the container, I'll scoop it out. I just have these little containers for my lunch, and I'm gonna pop half an avocado in each of those as well. And depending on how many little containers I have around the house, I will also portion out some pistachio nuts for some snacks. These are from Go Stack. You can buy them on iHerb, as like everything I buy. And they literally like stack up together, or you can just separate them, so that way I can keep these all stacked up in the pantry, and every day I just grab one and go. So that, guys, is how I meal prep all my food. It's not the most visually appealing thing, but if you want to stay on track with your diet, I think meal prepping is the best thing you can do, because there's no excuse to not eat the food that you've cooked already. It really only takes like an hour or 2 out of your day to cook this amount of food, and then you're set for literally the rest of the week, and you know that you're going to be hitting all your macros and eating all the food that you're supposed to. And I just think it makes my life a lot easier, honestly, the fact that I can literally just grab something, put it in my work bag and go, and I don't have to worry about prepping anything in the morning as well. I also want to make a disclaimer, the weights and measurements and stuff is what I am doing at the moment, but that won't necessarily be right for you. So please see somebody like a coach or a PT, somebody who can actually give you the recommendations of what to eat, you know, how much to eat as well, because the calories and macros and everything like that I do is not right for everybody, and it's only what I'm doing right now. I wasn't doing this same thing 6 months ago, and I probably won't be doing this exact same thing 6 months in the future. So this is just what I'm doing right now. I will leave my PT's links down below. Her name's Phoebe, she's amazing. Let me know what you thought of the video, and if you guys want to see more of these kind of healthy lifestyle tips and tricks that I have. All I can do is kind of just share my personal experiences. I'm not an expert, so this is just how I like to stay on track with my meals. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're having a really good day, and I will see you next time. Bye.